Okay, welcome everyone to Shootin' the Shit. And if you've ever seen our shows in the past, you will know that anything can happen, anything could be said, any topic could be discussed, no rules, no holds barred, uncensored. Ronnie S., what's up? Ronnie S. is here visiting from the Clearwater, Florida area. And 7 lucky bells. All right, bells and whistles. Now, I want to introduce my co-host, Mr. Damian Owens. There he is. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. And before anyone asks, yes, I did get a tattoo.
What is it symbolic of? What is it?
Well, me and my wife are married, and we don't wear wedding bands because we're not really traditional. We decided to just go ahead and get a wedding band on our finger, but these can be very easily covered up in case anything were to happen. So I got her initial A since her name is Allison, and my wife wants to show you hers right quick. She got my initial.
I thought it was a scorpion. It looked like a little black. Oh, no, that's a letter.
Yeah, it's a letter. See, it's a letter A, and then she got the G.
And you got a G. And you know what? Walmart and actually many you can buy them online. They now sell titanium wedding bands that are very beautiful, very pleasing to the eye. And when I mean, they have the diamond cut in it where when you move it, I mean, they're really stunning. But it's titanium wedding bands that are extremely low priced, and they also make them out of stainless steel. So we also, being that we are the proud Pinko Patrol, we are not hesitant in giving consumer tips, and that's one consumer tip. Now, I just want to say to all the people that are that work in the executive office of social media that are part of this hypocritical bullshit so-called community standards, where it gives them, they feel it gives them the right to censor people, taking away their First Amendment right by punishing those that somehow offend someone. Well, we don't walk on eggshells, we throw them. And I can care less who gets offended or, who likes or doesn't like what we say, but I can't be worried about people getting offended. They probably don't want anybody to get offended because then they can't bombard them with spam, with nonstop spam. So, so much for censorship. Now, you did a review, and show the people the review you did that will be on the internet, unless it is already. But
it's not on the internet yet. I just went ahead and made sure everything was great in the post edit. So my review was Genesee Ice.
He did a review on Genesee Ice, and that I never had Genesee Ice. I've only had Genesee Cream Ale. I've had Molson Ice and Molson Golden, but I've never had that. So anyway, Ronnie S. says those feminists are at it again. Yes, the man-hating feminists, which are really lesbians, but they call themselves feminists. and they're the ones that pass all those laws that we did on other shows that are anti-male, including the right to take a man to the cleaners when a woman is files for divorce and gets a lawyer, and it takes the man to the poorhouse. The feminists are part of that also, including all the ridiculous sexual harassment lawsuits, where not lawsuits, but men getting fired by complimenting a woman's outfit or asking her out to lunch, and then all that bullshit. They just want to sabotage heterosexual straight relationships because they hate us, because they're jealous that they don't have a pair of testicles and a schlong. They're jealous. It's penis envy. They'll never have real testosterone in a pair of Rocky Mountain oysters. Now, what I brought, he did the review tonight of Genesee Ice, and of course, I still have more left. I have the long Dong Silver, no, Glen Silver's blended Scotch whiskey, and I will pour some in everyone's favorite large-breasted shot glass. There we go. Ronnie S. Cool tattoos. Ronnie S. says. Ronnie S. Hold on, I got to do it. Ronnie S. What's up, James? Those feminists at it again. Cool tattoos. Look what Hulk Hogan's ex did to him. You're damn right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Now, you know what's good about Ronnie S? He'll go on a fermented beverage show and he'll give a review. And he'll discuss other subjects. He's well-rounded, which I like. Now, there are those that do wine, beer, mostly beer, and hard liquor reviews that all they talk about is booze. They're incapable of discussing anything else. And those are the fanatics that I will do on a future show, fanatics that basically, they have no life, so they just talk about one thing. I know someone who talks about golf all the time. It could be anything. It could be any hobby. If that's all you talk about day in and day out, that's like boring. Like Joanne Worley from Laughing from the old days. She used to say boring like that. Well-rounded people are normal. I don't mean well-rounded like Chris Christie, but I mean, you know what I mean. So, you gave the score of in the 80s, right? Of the Genesee Ice.
I gave it an 82 out of 100 because, yes, it tastes like a regular old American beer. A little extra oomph because it is an ice beer. It's 5.5% alcohol. However, in terms of the graininess to malt ratio, it's very off balance. Like, there is so much grain orientedness to this that it almost just smacks you in the face, and it's not really all that pleasant. Now, for what it is, it's still good. You can tell it still has quality to it, that they thought about making it, but the recipe definitely needs to be tweaked for that. That's why I gave it an 82 out of 100.
Well, I can't wait until you sink your teeth into your first craft beer, home brew, your first home brewed craft beer, and you have certain products in mind. You have a lager. You want to do a stout. I don't know if you want to do an IPA. Maybe
I'll
not.
do an Imperial IPA, not a regular IPA.
Yes, Imperial sounds good because of the word Imperial. Now, the one I did during in October, I think it was Pump King. It had a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, with a crown on its head. Pump King Imperial a pumpkin ale, and it was great. I gave it a high rating. It was really, really nice. And last night I had mostly, I had all Yingling lagers because,
Yingling.
well, it was the only. I mean, other people were drinking Heinekens and whatever, but I like um, Yinling in terms of not that it was necessarily cheap to buy it in this nightclub, but it's America's oldest brewery. They're quality products. If you go to a liquor store, they're one of the best craft values. They make a Lord Chesterfield ale. They make the Black and Tan, whatever. They got a good product line. Pottsville, Pennsylvania, 1829. America's oldest brewery. Uh, it's like the poor man's Sam Adams. But
Uh,
Sam Adams might be. Uh, it's not bad. I mean, I think they were the first nationally advertised craft beer company to bombard the airwaves. I mean, with their constant commercials. But I mean, it's expensive, but at that time there wasn't nearly as many microbreweries and craft. And I mean, now it's like every state is loaded with breweries. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
For us around here, we have Yeehaw in Johnson City, the next city over. Then we have, let's see, we got Yeehaw. Then in Asheville, we got Highland Brewing, and then shoot, what's another local one around here? Oh, Studio Brew in Bristol, Virginia, on the Virginia side.
Oh, see, I mean, just in your region, you have all those. Ronnie S., have a good night. Thank you for stopping by, Ronnie S. Yeah, and it's great to have so many breweries in every region of every state because competition improves the quality of the product and brings the
Yep.
price down somewhat, unless they all get together and have a meeting that they're going to price gouge the consumer, which is a sneaky, underhanded capitalist scheme. Is the price gouge, like the eye gouge from Mo Howard? The price gouge is really a rotten thing to do. And I was watching a live show from Sioux City, Iowa. Bernie Sanders, power to the people, grassroots revolution, and everybody got up, gave their speeches, and Michael Moore was there, and Cortez said what she had to say. Then Bernie got up at the end, but I was surprised. Michael Moore, he finally, even though he personally knows Joe Biden, he decided to endorse Bernie Sanders, and he did the right thing because creepy, touchy-feely Uncle Joe Biden is a corporatist through and through, just like the man that he rides. I think he rides Barack Obama's coattails in this campaign. Because if it wasn't for Barack Obama, he really doesn't have a good reputation in the history of his voting. Voting for different, to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and then voting for the Iraq War, so on and so forth. So Michael Moore decided to do the right thing and go with Sanders. So anyway, power to the people. The DNC. The DNC is doing some shifty shenanigans, which doesn't surprise me. I have to read the full article on Twitter, but they are up to their corporatist crap again, like they did in 2016, of course. But if I was Sanders and he realizes he's going to get screwed by the DNC again, I would run as a socialist independent, or just form a third party, form a socialist People's Party, and just say, sayonara, adios, two-party system. And you know, he's receiving massive amounts of donations from the little guy, so he might as well, you know, not go with a corporatist political party like the Democrats. You know, because it's not the party of FDR and JFK and
No.
and Lyndon Johnson anymore. No, it's no way. Not even close. You know, even Teddy Roosevelt wanted Medicare for all, believe it or not, and that's when Republicans were not as far right as they are today. But anyway, people, if you're watching, or if you will watch after we're finished, don't forget to check out Damian Owens' tarot card workshop, the series where he goes through the entire 78, right?
Yeah, 78.
78 cards of the tarot deck, both the major and minor arcana, and he does it with perfection, splendidly, and it's on the internet. And for anyone that has any personal issues that they want to discuss, send me a private message, and you know, we'll do a show. He'll get the cards, I'll get the copper divining rods, which are now occasionally used on the paranormal shows on the Travel Channel, and we'll do some private dabbling in mysticism for those that have personal problems. And oh, what happened on one of the paranormal shows, Damien, is that the woman's copper divining rods mysteriously started rattling in her bag and flew out of her bag onto the ground. It was at night. They were walking the grounds where there was possible demonic activity, and then the rods just went. She says, that never ever happened to me before. I felt them rattling, and all of a sudden they're on the ground. And she says, whatever entity is here does not want me to be asking questions. And then, yeah, and she proceeded to ask questions, and they moved just like mine moves, except when we did the show, mine moved a lot faster than hers. I mean, mine was like a friggin' helicopter. I had to back, you know, I don't know if you remember, I had to back my head up because it was whacking me in the eye and the nose, you know. Yeah, no, it was moving. It was moving. The energy was really outstanding. But oh, happy Chinese New Year to all Chinese people throughout the world and mainland China. The spring, I only watched a portion of the Spring Festival Gala video from CCTV, and I subscribed to CCTV on YouTube. They have a channel, and it was awesome. It was unbelievably impressive. The performances, the colors, how they took a video from above, looking down, and the Chinese girls, were moving these scarves, and some of them, they had two colors, they had yellow and red, and the ones that had the red scarves moving, they were forming Asian characters, words in, like, I don't know how they did it. I mean, just picture these women moving scarves and forming Asian characters from an aerial shot. Chinese, yeah, words. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't I couldn't tell you what they were, but it's just that the way they were moving in um, in simultaneously with the red scarves. It's incredible.
It
And
is beautiful.
yeah, yeah, and but not only they must have been rehearsing that all year for the spring gala, because in order to get it right, in order to get it that perfect, where the women with the yellow scarves or streamers had to be stationary, and the ones with the red had to move perfectly to form these Chinese words. But that was only one tiny bit of the spring gala. I mean, of course, they had, they have the Beijing Opera, they have the Shaolin exhibitions for these galas. It's amazing, really.
Oh yeah, I like them.
Yeah, yeah. But it's nice that they have a YouTube channel, because the American media doesn't say anything uh, about what's going on in mainland China in terms of their technology or anything positive. And I was having a conversation with my friend in Shanghai, and she Shirley Chen, she thought that the United States media showed all the positive things that go on in China, and I says no. I says they just briefly show the Chinese New Year celebration with, the dancing dragon or the lion and dragon dance, and then the fireworks, just for like a minute. And they mentioned the year of the rat, and that's it. They don't say anything about their space program, that they have a space station, and they have shuttles, and the bullet trains that they have, very, very modern bullet train. You can put a glass of wine on the table and it never moves. And they're
Japan
going.
has them too.
Yes, Japan has them. Yep, Europe has them. But I mean, people in this country are always told that a communist country, socialist country, doesn't have the technology that the United States has. They're kind of backward compared to us. They're always, especially the Republicans, they always give you that impression that they're technologically behind us. But we're the ones with the dinosaurs on the railroad. I mean, on the tracks, called Amtrak, pieces of garbage. I took an Amtrak when I was in 1976, when I was on my way to basic training for the Navy. And the thing was, I couldn't even pee. I couldn't even aim properly. And
Well, I didn't know you were in the Navy.
yeah, just for basic training, because they promised that I was going to go in a submarine, and then they said, we want to put you on an aircraft carrier. I says, what happened to what the recruiter signed me up for? Oh, that changed. I go, what do you mean it changed? Is it in writing that I'm supposed to go on the sub? And they go, yeah. And then he says, oh, well, you want a discharge? I go, yeah. I don't want to be stuck and put somewhere that I didn't sign up for. And he says, well, yeah, we can put you anywhere we want, but if you want a discharge, you legally can get it. I said, oh, you're going to put me anywhere you want, huh? Give me the discharge. So
that's military for you.
it gave me the honorable discharge. Had that certificate with the old man of war, English man of war ship in the middle. It says, it's been lovely. What I used to do in the basic training, the cafeteria, because they had a huge cafeteria, huge. I used to tell, there was always a different person serving the main entrees, and I used to tell a different person every day that it was my birthday, and he would like pile on the food. So I figured
Oh yeah.
if I lied if I lied to a different person every time we went for lunch and dinner or whatever and breakfast, because they feed you pretty good. And if I did that every time, I would get a lot of food, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, I've never eaten military food, except I have had some official military issued MREs, which are actually pretty good.
You know, I'm gonna people that know how picky I am are gonna laugh at me, but I actually liked the powdered eggs, the powdered scrambled eggs. I actually liked them, and they had this big tank with a tap on the bottom for milk. I was whatever they had, I just guzzled it like Homer Simpson. But I thought I was going to hate powdered eggs because everyone like mocked powdered eggs. They all said, I'm not eating that crap." You know what? It tasted pretty decent. And before I was technically discharged, where they took me to Chicago's O'Hare Airport to fly back to Newark, New Jersey, then they made regular eggs. You know, whatever style you want. They cracked them from a regular egg. They weren't powdered, but um, it was an experience. It's not for me because I don't like authoritarian people, you know, talking to me with an attitude or yelling at me or being demonstrative in their tone of voice. I like that. I've always been an independent, critical, free thinker, and I just didn't like the fact that they once you make a decision to stay in the military, they reserve the right to stick you wherever they want to stick you. I didn't care for that. So
That's understandable.
yeah, so that was that. But it wasn't like when the Village people sang "In the Navy you can sail the seven seas." I mean, that was just a song. Uh, it's not the adventure. It's not the Love Boat with Captain Steubing. Let's put it that way. The Love Boat. We have something for everyone.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
mother-in-law's tongue is the most popular plant around.
Well, I'm glad you brought all that up because as I was telling you about MREs, you
Yeah.
know, you can purchase them on Amazon. They actually are official military issued MREs. And I will admit some of them are actually very terrible, but a lot of them are actually really good. I was actually really shocked. My personal favorite one is the chili with beans and cornbread. That one, top
You know,
notch on that one.
it's funny you mention this because my sister at one time dated this special forces guy that was in Afghanistan, and I got along great with him. He was uh, before the relationship ended between the two. He was going to teach me how to lay not women. I mean, how to lay a bathroom tile. A granite marble. He says there's really good money if you know what you're doing in bathroom remodeling. So he was going to teach me that, and he used to bring me the brown packets of food. The survival food from the army, and I had some. I tried the um, beef stew. I tried several of them, and I go, "Hey, I like this military food tastes pretty good. It's a nice snack for me. Like if I get hungry late at night, and I go, you have access to a lot of this? He goes, sure. How much you want? I go, keep them coming, keep them coming.
Yeah, most of it is pretty good actually, but like I said, my personal favorite is the chili with beans and cornbread. Now in an MRE, um, you can get a lot of different varieties of MREs, and in fact, whenever you get an MRE, they come with a variety of different things inside of them, and a lot of times they'll actually trade different stuff to make your MRE. Now, I told you my personal favorite, chili with beans and cornbread. That's what I love as my main entree for an MRE.
Okay.
Now, you also get a dessert. Now, your dessert could be something like mixed berry cobbler. It could be like peach cobbler. It can be a variety of different things. Now, you also get another side, which can be like a cheese sandwich or like cheese crackers or like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then you also get two little packets to where you can have coffee or you can have a flavored energy drink, which is kind of similar to like Gatorade and Powerade, but it gives like it's supposed to give you electrolytes. And then they also give you like different snack foods. Like one time I got Twizzlers.
Oops.
Hang on.
Oops. Twizzlers.
Yeah, my webcam is messing up. Hang on.
Okay. Well, I hear you. For now, until you can get it fixed. Anyway, folks.
There we go. Hang on. What the fuck? There we go. Fixed it.
There we are. Okay. You mentioned Twizzlers, peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. Sometimes I even got Skittles. Now, here's one that really threw me off. Is corn chips, like the Fritos corn chips. Well, when it said it came with corn chips, I was thinking I was getting some like Fritos. No, here's what they did. They took actual pieces of corn, dried them, made them hard, and covered them with salt and called those corn chips.
Oh, those are corn nuts. You ever see corn nuts in a snack area?
Actually, I haven't.
They're dehydrated, larger kernels, not the little, not the little kernels, the big ones. Because I know I used to see in the Korean market called H Mart, they had this popcorn that was huge, and there is a corn like in Peru called choclo. It's a really big kernel. Anyway, I've seen the big kernels, and they call them corn nuts. They dehydrate them. They put they either usually they're roasted with oil, vegetable oil, and salted, like Virginia peanuts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that, and they call them corn nuts, and they're quite good, and that's what this sounds like to me.
Yeah, so you get that, and then they give you like jalapeno cheese spread, or they'll give you like a little packet of hot sauce. Now, what's even cooler is how you cook your entrees and your desserts, because you get what's called a flameless heat ration. So you tear this open, and then you pour water up to the fill line, and then you shake it, and then it creates some kind of chemical reaction to where it heats up, but it produces like steam. Then you put your entree on one side, then you put your dessert on one side, then you fold it over. Now, while that's cooking, you could eat like your cheese crackers or your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then they also give you another bag for either your energy drink or your coffee. So I've had the coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, except for if I'm really tired and I need a little boost throughout the day, I'll drink some coffee then. But it's not super terrible coffee, but it's not anything like super gourmet or exquisite. It's satisfactory coffee. It's a decent drinking experience for the coffee. Now the energy drink is where it gets a little bit more interesting. It comes in a powder form, and like I said, it's like Gatorade or Powerade, but in powder form. They can add as like a flavor enhancer to water. but it's very low sugar, very low calories, but it has lots of electrolytes in it to give you energy. Which, if you know you're in combat, you're going to sweat a lot, so you need a lot of electrolytes.
That's
So they
true.
add that. So whenever you eat your entrees and those are cooked, you open up this little packet and there's your entree. And they give you this little plastic spoon that
Mhm.
you get everything out of. Now, the snacks I told you about, you can get different varieties of snacks, Twizzlers, Skittles, corn chips, corn nuggets, what have you. And then, as the meal is getting ready to come to an end, there's another little tiny packet in the bottom of the in the bag.
Yeah.
So there's a packet of napkins. Sometimes they give you one, sometimes they give you two. It all just depends. I've gotten like 3 packets of napkins in one of them. Then they give you 2 pieces of gum. Now, this gum is very interesting. No. This is a very interesting piece of gum. So it looks like something you would get in the store, and it looks like little square pieces of gum. I think the closest brand I can equate it
It
to
was,
is like Eclipse gum or something like
oh,
that. But what makes this gum unique and different is, how when you chew gum, it has
it's
flavor, and after
C4.
a
It's
while,
C4, right? It's
it's what?
C4.
No,
It's
it's not
C4.
C4. No, when you put gum in your mouth
Yeah.
and you chew it, you get different flavors, and the flavor disappears after a while, and then it just retains its stickiness.
Yeah.
Well, this gum is not like that. So what makes this so different is it doesn't retain its stickiness after X amount of time. It will actually dissolve in your mouth after like 10 to 15 minutes.
Really?
So
That's
what
it.
it's for, it's to freshen up your breath, and it's also to get any little pieces of food or anything either on your teeth or in your gums. And after a while, it just kind of dissolves and dissipates. I was like, wait, this is not really normal. Chewing gum is not supposed to be dissolving in my mouth like this.
Well,
And then,
that's interesting that you mentioned electrolytes because those when the troops are in Afghanistan, the daytime high could be well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's very important to someone out in the field like that. But yeah, you get a wide variety.
yeah, the different flavors you get orange, you can get grape, you can get like fruit punch, strawberry, kiwi. I mean, there's all kinds of different flavors. My personal favorite is when you mix the orange and you mix it with a strawberry kiwi and have like a mixed tropic punch. Oh
Mhm.
man, it actually tastes really good. Now, the last thing you get is like your little packets of napkins, you actually get little packets of toilet paper
Oh
in your
shit!
MRE.
Oh shit! You're gonna love the front cover of this show when it's said and done. Anyway, toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Well, I mean, when you're out there in the field, there are no porta potties out there, in the wilderness. Uh, you have to use something, I guess. Actually, the best thing is the antibacterial pre-moistened towelettes.
Yeah, they have those too.
Those are quite effective. Actually, they're better. It's better than toilet paper because it doesn't crumble in your ass, in your anus. It doesn't crumble and cause dingleberries to be stuck in your anus, and it's moist, which means you can really dig in there deep and clean your bunghole out nice,
Hmm.
fresh and sparkling.
Yeah, so one night I decided to test the quality of this toilet paper. And I was actually very shocked at how quality of toilet paper it really is. Granted, it's not like Charmin or Angel Soft, but it's not anything like your Value Time or Great Value really thin piece of shit toilet paper. I mean, it does the job, it gets you clean, but don't expect anything gourmet. Now,
Gourmet toilet paper.
yeah, don't expect anything gourmet out of an MRE. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's satisfactory. It does the job. And granted, there are some really good things in MREs, but there's also very bad things in MREs. Like the worst one I ever had was what was it called? My Uncle Chris brought some home when he was in the Navy, and it was a ham, egg, cheese and pepper omelet.
Oh,
That was nasty.
you know what food was. You know what food that the military food that we're talking about blows away, and it's really sad. Uh, there was a company when my mother was alive. There are companies that deliver meals to senior citizens. The most famous would be Meals on Wheels, I think, which is crap. But this was called, I think it was called Just for Mom or something like that. What the hell? Mom's Meals. I don't know. The word mom is in there somewhere. And the company was from Iowa, I think. It was absolute garbage. And I told them that the military food surpassed this shit in flavor and quality. And that doesn't say much for what they make for seniors or what they actually think of seniors. Like you're ready for the glue factory and they want to soil and green you. They want to like move along and die
Yeah.
already. Hurry up and die. And yeah, so uh, I was really shocked that the military food in those brown packets were much better quality and tastier than the food made for the elderly. Um, so now, how many beers did you review so far? About four since you
Let's
started?
let's see here. My debut review is my favorite ice beer, Bush Ice.
Okay.
Then I did the let's see. I've got the cans here. Let me go ahead and grab them out of my little can collection in my little cranny hole I've got down here underneath my desk.
Arr, the cranny hole. Arr.
All right. So yes, I did the Natty Light Seltzer. I did the Catalina Lime Mixture.
Hmm.
Um, Not impressed with this one. Then stepped up my game and got the Aloha Beaches, the mango and peach.
Hmm.
Definitely much better. So let's see here. What else have I done? Okay, so then the last one I've done before the Genesee Ice, I did the Still Reserve 211 Triple Export. For a high gravity malt liquor, this one was 100 out of 100. It's very smooth. You quickly forget what you're drinking, and then after this tall can, you're just like, "Uh-oh, I've encountered some problems. I completely misjudged that one." So let's see here. Where did that one go? Is this one it? No, that one's not it. I did the. Uh, I'll find the bottle of it here in a minute, but I did the Budweiser Black Lager, which is actually, is this one
I,
of them?
I remember seeing that on the food group. Everything is food. Yeah, you did
Yeah,
post that. Which
yeah.
which you everyone out there is more than welcome to join on Facebook. Everything is food, international food and drink group.
Hmm.
Everything is food. You're
Yeah,
more than
I've
welcome.
done that one. And then, well, I argue that one's a craft beer because, it is a Budweiser beer, but they produce it as a seasonal brew because that's what they're doing now is, Budweiser's producing a seasonal brew every so often just to see how well it does. And I've gotten all of them so far, and I'll go through the collection of that one day. And the other one I did as just a straight craft beer review from one of my favorite brewing companies, Highland Brewing Company. I did the Daycation IPA Hoppy Floral Session. I gave this one a 80 out of 100. I wasn't super impressed with it, but I mean, it's a typical IPA. So what I've done tonight, Genesee Ice.
There we
I've
go.
The video is done. It's going to be uploaded here in just a little bit.
Now,
So let's see
I,
here.
I don't want to sound like a neophyte, but what does the word session mean when it comes to beer?
Okay, so when they make a session beer, that means that the body's not super thick, it's not rich, it's not heavy. You could just sit and drink it like you were sitting in a bar, sitting at home, and you were just drinking it normally over the course of the
Right.
night.
like
That's
a
what a session means.
Modelo Especial, like or a Corona. It's no, what is like that's like a Pilsner. No. I'm sorry. Modelo Especial is more like a lager, I think. Uh, um, in other words, it's not like a heavy a brown ale or a dark IPA or a stout. It's something that you could drink anytime, every day. Pretty much.
Sort of yes and no. As in, yeah, it fits the criteria of what I said and what you said, but these are something that you can just, sit around and enjoy and just keep drinking enough of until you can't drink anymore. Now, where that differentiates in terms of just regular IPAs, yes, there are IPAs out there you could theoretically drink all night, but you kind of wouldn't want to because for me, IPAs, yes, I drink them, I review them, and I rate them fairly according to style, according to class, as I do with just about everything else. But eventually, just the rich body, the rich hop bitterness you get, and then the rich malt and the yeast and the breadiness you get from it, and just the medium to heavy body that you get with most IPAs. After about a couple of those, you're done. You're ready to move on to something else. That is something that you can just drink on all night. Now, in terms of Genesee Ice,
Okay.
is it really a sessionable beer? Uh, I would say no. Because, yes, I have almost drunk this tall can. This is a 24-ounce can, and I put it in the big mug. As you can tell, I'm just about done. Yeah, I'm catching a buzz. I can definitely tell I probably shouldn't drive, but I'm catching a buzz. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to do one more review for the night because I need to go ahead and just get that out of the fridge and get it out of the way. And that's going to be a Pabst Blue Ribbon 40 ounce.
Okay. Now Sapporo Black would definitely not be a sessionable beer because that's a heavy. That's considered a black lager, which happens to be my favorite lager that I have ever had. Uh, you know, period, is the Sapporo Black lager.
Depends. Like, black lagers are basically stouts, but in lager form as compared to ales. So you can session a stout if you wanted to, but I will tell you right now, a dark beer hangover is far worse than
Yeah.
something like what I was drinking type of hangover.
Well,
Because
the lager is a cool temperature fermenting beer that ferments low, right? Whereas
yes,
the ales and stouts and porters are high temperature and top fermenting.
yes,
Top
yes.
fermenting. Okay.
So yes, the black lagers are essentially just the lager version of stouts. So, like I said, you can session them, and I will tell you right now, every beer is different, and it will affect you in its own way. As I told you, yes, I've sipped this 24-ounce can of Genesee Ice, but I've sipped on it, and I've got a buzz. A lager will hit you harder and faster, but an ale takes a little bit longer to kick in. There's some kind of weird science behind it that lagers, especially with like malt liquors. I would tell you my personal favorite with Still Reserve. You drink one can of this at 8.1%, you're definitely going to be feeling a buzz. There's not really a way that I can explain it, but yes, lagers will hit you much quicker than an ale. Now ales, they'll get you, but they're much more sneaky in terms of how they get you. So where's that tipping point in terms of how heavy bodied can you make a certain style of beer before it becomes undrinkable and you cannot tolerate it? Well,
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
all right, now Genesee Ice, 5.5% alcohol. In the world of beer, that's actually not a super high alcohol by volume. Most Americans drink light beer, which is around, 3.5 to maybe 4.2% alcohol. Americans like thin, light bodied, watery beer.
Well,
I mean,
the
that's
average
fine.
Joe six pack. No pun intended.
Right. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I like light beers. I drink them when the time is right. If I've been on a session binge where, I've been drinking like heavy, thick bodied beers, and, I just want something to where I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy, and just, not really think on a beer, but just more or less drink it.
Well,
So I grab a light beer.
the lightest I would go would be like a Genesee Cream Ale, a Modelo Especial, something like that. I wouldn't go lighter because then it's like it's it's just not full bodied and flavorful for me. But I know what you're talking about. Now, what's the difference between an imperial ale and an imperial IPA and the standard ale?
Right. That's actually the next point I was getting ready to get to. So, most Americans, they drink light beers. That's the most popular brand of beer in America is light beer. So, Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light,
Mhm.
Natural Light, even in some instances like maybe Miller High Life Light or something like that. You know, those would be considered light lagers or even pilsners. Light bodied, light flavored, but crisp and refreshing, very sessionable. So, getting into your more traditional beers, most of your traditional beers are around for ales and lagers and also porters, stouts, and even like wheat beers and like some of your IPAs. They can be as low as like 4.5%, around to about maybe 6.5%. And there's that wide range and that variable plethora of how much you can play with before it goes into your imperial category. Now, your imperial category is where, as the term implies, it's imperial. It's supposed to be strong, it's supposed to be stout. So you can have different imperial styles. You can have an imperial lager, it's also known as malt liquor. Some people consider this a malt liquor, some people don't. Now, that little interesting side note is, in other countries like Canada, our neighbors to the north, and even in the UK, they can call a strong lager strong beer or an imperial lager. Well, here in the US, there used to be a regulation that nothing above 5.1% could be called beer. Something had to be changed. It had to be called either lager or ale. It had to be either called that or even malt liquor. Now, as I was telling you about, this, even though it's 5.5%, you see right here very explicitly, I don't know how well my camera picks it up, but it says beer, which either indicates to me the enforcement is not enforced anymore or the regulation was changed. So malt liquors could arguably be called imperial lagers. Most of your malt liquors, they're around 5.5 to 6%, but your high gravity malt liquors, like I was talking about, Still Reserve at 8.1, that's your imperial lager. So imperial lagers usually are higher than 6.5%, or anything imperials like 6.5% and above. They'll also maybe call it double or triple, and then it goes up to imperial. Now, how thick and rich and full body can you, plus the alcohol content before it becomes intolerable? So, as Jay Terrio says, for him, his tipping point on lagers are 6%. Anything really above 6% is, a bit too rough, too harsh to take. Well, to a certain extent, yes, that is the case. But if you drink them dead cold, you can pound anything dead cold. But if you let it warm to where the flavors and the aromas come out and you taste more of the body, the way the beer is supposed to taste, yes, I can see where he's coming from. But that's for majority of Americans. For majority of people throughout the world who drink beer, 6% is like, that's really nothing. Even something that's like 8.1%, it's still reserved. To them, that's nothing. So really, it all just depends upon your tolerance and how well you make the beer, because you can make something like Still Reserve 8.1%, and it's very smooth, it's very sessionable for what it is. Now, when you drink that, you know you're drinking a very manly, macho sort of beer. It tastes like beer with like an undertaste of alcohol. I mean, you can taste the alcohol that's in it, but that's a quality issue. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just, it could be better. Now, when you step up into more of your craft style malt liquors or high gravity malt liquors or even imperial lagers, you can have something that's 8.1% and it would be smooth as velvet. Now, all that is in terms for lagers. Now, ales are a little bit different because where they're warm fermented, and depending upon which yeast strain you use, there is a difference between a lager yeast and an ale yeast. Certain yeast does better cold, whereas certain yeast does better at warmer temperatures, which is where majority of craft beers are ales, because you can do more with warm fermentation as what you could with cold fermentation. So for ales, it all depends on how well it's made. I mean, 5 to 6% is where most traditional ales are going to be. Now your imperials, 6.5 and above, really the sky is the limit. I've had the strongest stout I've ever had was like 13.8% ABV.
Wow.
And you could not taste the 13.8% alcohol in that stout. It was that well made.
What makes it imperial is the alcohol content?
Yes, the alcohol content. Okay. And then also the body. When you drink an imperial style, it doesn't matter what it is, an imperial lager, an imperial IPA, an imperial porter, an imperial stout, expect to have a rich, robust beer drinking experience because the name implies imperial. It's supposed to be strong. It's supposed to be stout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at the clock. Your guests should be coming any minute now.
Yeah.
So you gave a very good lesson in craft beer, brewing, and even the what to expect when you drink and review them.
Exactly. Now, there is one style I do want to touch on here, and that's the ice beers. So, ice beers are kind of a way in terms of making an imperial lager or a malt liquor. It's just, instead of using like a lot of fermentable sugars, like with adding in a lot of malt or adding in sugar to ferment with the yeast to give it the alcohol, that's one way of doing it. Now, that's where most of your malt liquors and your craft style imperial styles come from. Now, ice beers is kind of like a weird bastard child in terms of beer styles. So, quick history lesson about ice beers. So, granted, I know a lot of people will consider ice beer cheap, shitty swill. I mean, if that's what you want to think about it, fine. But it actually has a very rich German heritage in terms of how the style of beer was created. So, in a nutshell, one year during one of the Oktoberfests, the beer was stored a little bit too cold. And when they went to go get the beer, they noticed that excess water from the brewing process came up to the top as ice crystals. They scooped it out, thawed the beer, and they quickly realized, there's a little bit of a distinct taste to this. And they also noticed there's a little bit of an alcohol undertaste with ice beers. So they dubbed it the term Eisenbach as a result. So they kind of were sort of popular in Europe throughout the years. Now, it caught on in America in the 90s because of the ice beer craze. The first American ice brewed beer was Ice House. And have you heard of Ice House?
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah.
All right. So Ice House came out in 1993, and Genesee Ice came out in 1993, the same year.
And then Molson Ice became popular after that.
Yeah, some other ice beers that are still around today and are still popular, and even some obscure ones that are not really around anymore. You know, you've got Genesee Ice, you've got Bud Ice, Budweiser Ice, Natural Ice, Bush Ice, Keystone Ice. They even had a Miller High Life Ice. There was a Pabst Ice. There was a Miller High Life Light Ice. There was a Miller Light Ice, Schlitz Ice, and a few others. But what it entails is once you brew your beer and you're aging it, you know, during the fermentation process, that's considered fermentation slash aging. So you can go ahead and get it ready for canning or bottling. They drop the temperature to about 30 to 31 degrees. They just get it slightly below freezing.
Okay.
The excess water from the brewing process comes up to the top as ice crystals. And also your lower alcohol by volume content liquid also comes up to the top of the beer. So ethyl alcohol, which is much of it from isopropyl alcohol, which is what you get in rubbing alcohol, has a much lower freezing temperature as compared to water. So when you filter out the ice crystals, you either scoop them out or you filter them through, you still have the same alcohol content of the liquid. It just becomes more concentrated. So you could take something that's like 4.5 to 5% and turn it into something that's like 5.5%, which is the low end of ice beers, to like where majority of them are 5.9.
Oh.
So the biggest thing you notice about ice beers is they taste like regular beer, but they have a really weird funkiness to it. They call it the ice beer funk, where it may taste a little freezer burnt, or you have a little undertaste of alcohol, because you know that lower alcohol content liquid that came up as ice crystals is no longer there. So it no longer can kind of mix together with that higher alcohol concentrated liquid, and it kind of tones it down. Since that part is removed, you taste the medium to more highly concentrated alcohol by volume liquid in the beer. That's why sometimes it gives it that undertaste. Now, these have a bit more bang for your buck. Yes, you can drink them, you can enjoy them, but really the main reason why people buy them now is they want something that's just straightforward, simple, to the point, and gives you a good bang for buck. Like, yeah, I still have a buzz and I'm going to have some more, but this tall boy right here is 2 beers. This would make you feel like you've drunk about 4 to 5 beers. So more bang for your buck, more power to the punch.
Now your very next review is going to be Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Out of a 40-ounce bottle.
A Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Yeah. Now,
I mean, any particular style or just standard Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Just regular Pabst Blue Ribbon. Now, Pabst Blue Ribbon has made some different beers because back in 1999 they had a 20-year contract with Miller Coors for them to brew their beers. While they still are technical brand holders of beers, they don't do any brewing of themselves now. But where that contract is now expired with Miller Coors, they are now going to start making their own beers and do brewing themselves once again to become one of the bigger beer brands in America once again. Now, the hipsters saved Pabst Blue Ribbon from being a dying brand. Now, I think eventually it will become too popular for its own good, like most fringe beers. But, I mean, before the popularity really died out, for the hipsters brought it back in the day, like the 40s, 50s, and even 60s, Pabst Blue Ribbon was a huge beer in terms of what Americans would drink when they would drink beer. Yes, there was its own little craft niche that enjoyed the craft brews, but really, Pabst Blue Ribbon was one of the go-to beers during that time. So yes, they still have their Blue Ribbon. That's probably not going to be going anywhere, but I got a 40-ounce bottle because I like to collect, different cans and bottles of beer. So that'll be great to add to my 40-ounce collection because, I mean, I've got quite a few 40s, and there's quite a few 40s in my area that I'm going to be collecting. So they have the Blue Ribbon. there for a while they had a Pabst APA, an American Pale Ale, which I can't find anymore. Either A, it was pulled from our market, or B, it was discontinued. And I thought it was much better than the Blue Ribbon. It had like a craft style to it, and it was actually really good for what it was. I gave it. I did a video review of it. I think that was on my old channel. I think I gave it like a. I think I gave it like a 91 out of 100. I gave it like an A minus. It was really good.
Hmm.
So they no longer make Pabst Blue Ribbon Light. Now they've brought out Pabst Blue Ribbon Easy, which is a reformulated different light beer, which I've not tried, but that will be on my to-do list. Now they've released, this came out about March, April of last year, Pabst Blue Ribbon Extra, which comes in a black can, and it's 6.5% alcohol by volume. It's a strong lager. And I gotta say, they really did good. Ever since they broke off from Miller Coors and became a independent macro brewery again, man, they have gotten so much better.
Oh, all right. You know what? You definitely educated our viewers as far as beer goes in general, macros and craft beer. So we are going to end the show. I'm going to play the Jew's Heart, and then we will say goodbye to the folks for now.
All right. Well, before you play it, I do want to say one thing.
Yes.
One more thing.
Yeah.
So the last thing is, I know people like to talk trash about the big breweries, the big boys, but you know what? If it wasn't for the macro breweries and getting beer so popular in America, we wouldn't be where we are today without them in terms of, people still drinking the macros and the explosion of the craft brews today. Because, I mean, if that had not even gone off the ground in the first place with regular old beer, then what in the world makes you think that we would have even gotten anywhere in terms of craft style? So, yes, I know people don't like them. Yeah, they're greedy, stingy scumbags, and their beers are full of shit like preservatives and all of that. But you know what? If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are today in terms of the beer industry, macro and micro.
Well, macros can afford the national advertisements, and they have the money to advertise. No, in terms compared to the micros, which are regional, and their budget is much lower. So I mean, there's a microbrewery. There's three of them in New Jersey. Two of them are close to me, within 15 to 20 minutes drive, but they're only known to the locals. But they have a fantastic a variety of micro beers, exotic ones, standard ones, popular. They're great, but it's only known locally because they just don't have the budget to be advertising like the macro companies. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Look, if a big company, let's say Pabst Blue Ribbon, when they make their big comeback, if their CEO says no preservatives, no chemicals of any kind, and I'm going to prove it to my consumers, hey, great, fantastic, I'm all for it. Then I wouldn't say anything derogatory about Pabst Blue Ribbon, But if a company, I don't know how they get the idea that they're the king of beers. Budweiser is a chemical laden beer, and they call themselves the king. Then I would have to avoid it if somebody gave it to me. Now, when people used to give me Coors, I used to get heartburn from Coors. Miller, not that bad. Miller, but you know what? The Genesee Cream Ale is $4.50 for 6 bottles, much cheaper than the Miller, and a better product.
Yeah.
I mean, then there was the Stroh's Brewing Company. I think they made Old Milwaukee, which won an award
Oh yeah, Milwaukee's won multiple awards.
Award, and they were made by the Strohs out of Detroit. And when I was a kid, my uncle in Maryland on the Chesapeake Bay, he used to buy Strohs beer, and it said Strohs Fire Brewed, whatever that meant, Fire Brewed beer, and it was Strohs. That was before they started making anything else out of Detroit. And he says, "Here, James, try this. This is good. This is good." All right. He had the big cooler loaded with everything. And he also had a big, God rest his soul, he's deceased. He had a big cabin cruiser. He used to take us fishing and crabbing and out in the Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. And yeah, so and then we had the big, he used to steam the crabs with the Old Bay seasoning, huge pot.
Oh yeah.
He had a big barbecue pit, and then he had a section where the pots, where he had gas jets, and we steamed the crabs and beer. They go together because of the Old Bay seasoning made you thirsty. And it was summertime, and it was all good. It was good. But anyway, it was a good show, and I did Shootin' the Shit videos before, and there will be many more.
Oh yeah.
Originally, it was called Fandango Friday After Dark, but because I don't know what happened. I don't know why it fizzled out. Honestly, I have no idea. I think I know why it fizzled out, because a certain someone that made plans to do Fandango Friday After Dark stiffed me a couple times, well, a few times. And I guess I just got so pissed, I go, screw it. So then I remember an old friend of mine, little Jimmy Pesto, he said, why don't you do a show called Shootin' the Shit, where everyone sits on a toilet and you do the show from the toilet, and you just keep you cover yourself a little, or you put a magazine on your crotch and you do the show from the toilet. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to say goodbye.
Yep, say goodbye. And play me a tune on that. I want to hear that Juice Heart.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that sounds like something you would hear in the Sanford and Son theme song.
Da, 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 da. Hey, hey, Esther, here. Hands her a piece of cellophane. What is this, Fred? Hold it up to your face. That's your Halloween mask.
Oh, I have a very interesting theory, and we'll save that for another video. I think secretly Fred and Esther, deep down, had a love affair, but to make it not so apparent, they made it appear as though they hated each other so much.
Now, Aunt Esther's alcoholic husband, was his name Woody or something? Woodrow or
what? Woodrow, and then there was Grady, and then there was Fred.
Well, Rollo was Lamont's friend.
Yeah, Rollo, and then so was Julio.
Yeah, and Julio and Rollo. Fred had Bubba Bexley, and
Bubba.
Grady Wilson.
Oh, Grady.
And Skillet.
Skillet.
Yeah, you didn't see Skillet too much. And then there was Fred, and those were his buddies. And I remember when Julio took Lamont and Fred to a Spanish restaurant, and the waiter says, "Senor, more sangria? Por favor." And Fred says, "Yeah, pour some more."
Oh yeah, gotta love Fred. Red Fox, a very interesting character. But next show, well, we can talk about that because I've got a a Red Fox 10 poster that my wife got me. It's my favorite malt liquor is Colt 45, and it shows Red Fox with a can of Colt 45 on it. It says, "You big dummy."
You big dummy. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna press your face in dough and make gorilla cookies."
Oh, my favorite.
That's what he said. Yeah, that was another line of insults for Aunt Esther because she was a holy roller.
Oh
Hallelujah,
yeah.
praise the Lord. You know, yakety yak, God's talking. I was Steve Martin. Yakety yak, God's the talking back. Oh man, you know what? That's another. You know what? We'll smack evangelical zealots around, and we'll talk about old nostalgic sitcoms.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
Talk about Good Times, All in the Family with Archie Bunker. Well, all of them.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
Back
look,
when TV was actually great.
yeah, look at all the spin-offs from All in the Family. We'll talk about that too. A lot of spin-offs. You know, so anyway, oh, you're gonna do Paps tonight?
Yeah, once I get off here, and I'll let my buzz wear off because yeah, I'm still feeling a pretty good buzz from this.
Now the Paps has a screw on top, right?
Yeah, it's a 40-ounce bottle,
Okay.
like a something like this, but it's a brown bottle.
Okay, so you don't really have to drink it all to do this review. You can tighten it and put it back in the fridge, right? Pretty much. Oh, you okay. Well, you know what? You got to make room in the refrigerator anyway. So I look forward to seeing that and the Genesee Black, Genesee Black, Genesee Ice, Black Ice. Oh, I lost your audio.
Oh, Genesee Ice. It comes in black cans.
Oh, Genesee Ice. Oh, it's in black can. Okay.
Ice beers come in black cans, but they actually have a Genesee Black, which is 8%.
Okay. All right. Listen, you got things to do, and have a good night, and take care, everyone.
I will take care.
Bye bye. Android cat.